it is my pleasure to introduce ACLI President and CEO, Susan Neely.
What a fantastic introduction. Thank you very much. You pumped me up, and I haven't left the desk where I'm sitting, which is probably the fate of all of us at this time, right? We're in the same place a lot. But thank you, Wes. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for having me. Thank you to my good friend and colleague, Kevin Mayu, for giving me another opportunity to address and talk to this distinguished group. We remember fondly, it seems like it was more than 9 months ago that we were all in Orlando together. And of course, as has been said throughout the time, we wish we were in the halls of Congress carrying our industry story forward. But kudos to NAPA and all of you for making things work. Such a challenging time and for all of us. And one of the challenges is to be in the people business. I can't tell you how often I've heard people say they really, the reason they go into this business is to be with the people. So you can look them in the eye and you can talk to them and understand them and be there for them. And that's not possible right now with this social distancing, but we're making it work. So I appreciate you having me today and allowing using technology so artfully to connect all of us. You know, there's a lot of talk in the news about the economy, GDP, you know, the unemployment rate. Those are cold words that mean something important, but they don't capture the full scope of what they are intended to address. The truth is that families and individuals need NAPA agents, and they need this important industry now more than ever to take care of them, to be there for them as they're facing all the uncertainty of these times, particularly uncertainty as it relates to their economic security. So part of our mission at ACLI is to make sure policymakers know about the good work that our industry does, not just about our economic footprint or business factors or those cold but meaningful and important words, but that policymakers know the way we are answering real needs of American families. This is as true now during the pandemic as it's ever been throughout the 130 years, happy anniversary, NAPA, of our industry and beyond. The coronavirus will change the world permanently, but the nature of the pandemic has forced people around the world to take stock of what the things are that really need to change and what things need to stay the same and are more important than ever. I'm sure you're asking those questions personally and professionally, as we all are, and certainly we are asking those at ACLI and at the industry level as well. So what's changed? Well, we like to think about it, it's not changing so much as maybe accelerating the inevitable. Many of you have been saying for years that digital tools like e-signatures and e-notarization make it easier for both the producer and the consumer. Virtual agent licensing, when an applicant can't sit for an exam or capture fingerprints, has allowed agents and financial advisors to maintain efficient workflows so that you can continue to serve people. The world was heading this way, but the NAIC didn't necessarily have the bandwidth. COVID has demanded change, and it's proving that these kind of things can work. Not only makes it easier for a consumer, but they're still protected just as they ever were. Our industry is advocating together with you to make these changes permanent. So this is actually an opportunity, and one of the reasons we say that COVID is accelerating the inevitable. More sophisticated and flexible use of technology can really help us achieve some goals that we have long had, and goals that will be important to make the business go forward in the future. We call it regulatory modernization, but it's really about bringing more financial protection products to more people. Our industry's big thinkers are on it, and every day they're forecasting the ways that COVID-19 will change this industry and processing all the things that we can do to respond today to have a better future. So what stays the same in the face of all of this? Well, I think what stays the same is that we are still going to be a people business. We're there for people. We have to continue to be there for them. And as I said, that's now more important than ever. Second, we've got to increase the way we are telling our stories to policymakers. So many people play a part in this Herculean task of passing legislation or stopping harmful legislation. NAPA raises the voice of Main Street loud and clear in major policy battles. Over the past year, my colleague Joyce Meyer talked about these in her excellent panel that Diane Boyle led. You were there. Wes mentioned them to help us get the Secure Act passed. You were there in the tough state battles in Florida and Massachusetts. We can't thank you enough for that. You're really essential to that storytelling. And one thing that we know will stay the same is the battles will continue. States are under enormous pressures, and the federal government's going to pass more response packages, and the need to pay for everything and stay engaged so that we can tell our story of our value proposition and also prevent negative and onerous things from being laid on our shoulders unfairly. That's only going to intensify. So that stays the same, and that also will be needed now more than ever. We also need to be telling people how we are meeting the moment. We've actually captured this with the hashtag and as a kind of catchy campaign name for the benefit of consumers and policymakers at ACLI, and we're using it as a way to systematically tell the story. But we've done some important things. We've extended grace periods so policyholders impacted by COVID can make premium payments later and keep their coverage now. We've supported the CARES Act that expands access to retirement funds, which can provide a critical lifeline to those that are struggling to make ends meet. Life insurers are helping families understand how this relief can help. Life insurance companies are there for people just as they always have been, delivering face masks, opening hotels to nurses and healthcare providers, offering life insurance to frontline workers and aid to the families of those frontline workers who've lost their lives to COVID. Also donating to other nonprofits and more. Life insurance companies are there meeting the moment, just as NAPA agents are doing the same. You're donating meals to healthcare workers and families in need. You're making masks, you're volunteering your services. You're using financial literacy tools to help families as they make tough financial decisions. And again, we're sharing all of that on social media using the hashtag meeting the moment. So one of my asks for all of you today is let's create our own echo chamber of the industry story. Let's share the ways you are helping families in your community. We'll tag our post NAPA Proud, hashtag NAPA Proud. If you could tag your post, hashtag meeting the moment, will increase the power of the story that we're putting out there on behalf of the industry and making sure policymakers and those that influence them know what our value proposition is and will continue to be now, going forward, and forevermore, because every moment matters. Financial literacy, let me just say another word on that. As you all know, better as well as we do, there are communities of color, individuals, women who are needing additional help and support, and you are all over it. I was so impressed with the numbers that turned out for your diversity webinar yesterday, over 1,000. That's fantastic. We're so impressed at ACLI with your financialsecurity.org and all the offerings there. My new BFF, Jill Judd, I hope you're listening. She participated so ably on behalf of NAPA in the first ever Women and Diversity in Insurance gathering in New York. It was one of the last things we did in person before we all went into quarantine. She did a fantastic job. I actually had women who work in insurance in the audience come up afterwards and say they'd like Jill to be their financial advisor because she explains things so well. But I know you're on this. I know you're out there putting out the message to people who need support and help and need to understand how to build financial security for their families. And that stays the same and is probably more intense and will be more needed going forward. So a lot is changing or accelerating the inevitable. We sometimes overuse those words, challenge and opportunity, and certainly these COVID times are no different in terms of providing challenges and opportunities, but we think we can capitalize on the opportunities. we can maintain what's so fantastic about this industry and this business, the ability to help people, and we can really meet the moment for all of our consumers, communities, and country as we navigate this pandemic together and come out on the other side stronger and better than ever. So again, thank you for having me today. Thank you for your partnership with us. Thank you to my friends at NAPA and colleagues who we work so closely with. And thank you to all of you for all you do for American families.